Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful morning here in beautiful downtown Bozeman, Montana. Ooh, I'm excited to be here. Shane Matabin, half man, half amazing, is on the line with me, and glad to have you along, Shane.
Well, thank you, Eagle Man. Oh, by the way, on this day, Abenaki Sagamore, he was the chief of the Samoset tribe, greeted the pilgrims of Plymouth Colony in English, becoming the first Native American to communicate with them. The French taught him how to speak English.
Wow, there you go.
That's a great one. Oh, and today is World Sleep Day.
Okay.
Largest crowd so far is in the massive central square of Mexico City. 100,000 Mexicans laid out wanting
to go to sleep. These things always happen in Japan. I
know.
Why it's not in Japan. So.
Yeah.
Well, for the benefit of you who may be coming to Bozeman, downtown, Main Street downtown is closed for the run to the pub, which is going to start around 9:30 this morning. So winner of that run to the pub gets a trip to Dublin, Shane. Going to Dublin, Ireland, I guess. So.
Yeah, it's a speedster run. It's only 4 blocks because they're
well, actually they have a half marathon and a full marathon, but other than that, I don't know. Last time I ran a 100-yard dash, they timed me with a calendar, so that's where I was.
I was in a potato sack.
Yeah, right. So. All right. Let's see what else we got going on. Well, we should say it's March 16th, 2024. St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. Be fun. Get your green beer out and go for it. And Tuesday, the 19th, I think, first day of spring. So there you are.
Isn't this wonderful? I mean, it's all coming together nicely. And, of course, New York, you don't want to be traditional. They're having their St. Patty's Day parade today.
Yeah.
So they want to get the jump on it, and the amazing thing in the U.S., the most amazing one is the green dye in the river that flows through Chicago.
Right. Yeah, they dye the river green. So
that's amazing.
Looks really good. So, we got some sad news too. Eho Pomeroy, the city commissioner, rather, has succumbed to her brain cancer. Unfortunately, our heartfelt prayers and wishes go out to her family members, and she will be missed. She was a very prominent person in Bozeman, a restaurateur and city councilman as well. So we wish her and her family all the best during this tough time. So. On a happier note, the Bobcats won their division, or won the conference anyway, so they're conference champs in basketball. And they will probably play, I don't know, the number 1 seed in the country on the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, of course.
So, that's going to start on the 19th. Tuesday the 19th, March Madness will begin. Championship game will be on April 8th, and baseball opening day is the 28th of March. And also we got to give a shout out to the Gallatin Raptors, AA state champions in basketball. That school's only been around about 4 or 5 years. Somebody text me at our text line 406-478-8298. Let me know, because I don't think that school's been there much more than 5 years, and here they are already state champs in basketball. So they're doing pretty darn well. So,
well, Eagle Man, remember April Foolish Day is on a Monday, so make sure you get out there ahead of everybody, because you want your April foolishness to last a whole week.
Well, at least that long, yeah. So
exactly.
All right, well. If you thought
by the way, can I say Happy St. Patty Day to you?
Oh, sure. Early? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
All right. If you thought property taxes were done, guess what? Supplemental tax bills are heading toward many Montana property owners. So last year during dispute with Greg Gianforti over the state's 95 mil school equalization property tax. Officials at all 49 of the officials at 49 of the 56 counties chose to reduce their bill against the wishes of the Montana Department of Revenue. So this month, after landing on the losing side of a November Montana Supreme Court ruling, these counties' treasurers are left with the thankless task of sending supplemental property bills to hundreds of thousands of property owners across the state of Montana. The supplemental bill will increase the amounts homeowners and other property owners owe for the second half of calendar year 2023, payments that are due at the end of May. So dig deep, ladies and gentlemen, because your property taxes might be more.
Well, be happy. I mean, the state government of California wants to pass a bill to determine how much you pay for electricity based on your income. So you have to send them your income tax returns for them to then tell you what you're going to pay.
Well, there you go. Now that's fair. That's paying your fair share. If you're paying a ton of taxes, then your electric bill should be higher. Yeah.
That's right.
I don't have a problem with that.
That's a good thing.
Well, both presidential candidates clinched their party nominations this week, Shane, on the same day. Last Tuesday, everybody went out and voted in the various states, and Joe Biden won easily in Georgia and Mississippi, and Donald Trump as well. So no surprises there, I guess, that we now know who the top dogs in the meat house will be, at least on the Democrat and Republican side.
Yeah, and it's a interesting fact, but if you go look, you'll find that all the primary elections they've been in if they've both been in a specific state, Trump has gotten more votes than Biden in every state thus far. Yeah. That's pretty amazing.
Well, Trump needs 1,215 delegates to win the nominations. He's got 1,265. Biden needs 1,968. He's got 2,101. So they are on their way. Now it's just who goes to jail first.
That's right. Because Biden's got those super delegates.
Right. There you go. All right, let's take some phone calls. See what the callers out there have to think. 406-522-TALK is the number. 406-522-8255. Caller, you're on with the award-winning Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Good morning, Tom and Shane. Nothing much going on over here in Big Timber except for cloudy weather and nice and chilly.
All right. Anything else, Jerry? Is the weather report what you called for?
I just wanted to mention something, Tom. I think the Gallatin High School Raptors, didn't they win the football championship also?
Boy, I don't know. I know there was a Montana that this year won the basketball and football. Was it Dillon or Wisdom or one of those? I think I saw it on the news.
I thought they won a football championship also. I don't know if it was this season
could be.
Or last season. Yeah, they haven't been in existence very long, Tom.
I think it's 5 years or maybe less than that.
Yeah. And congratulations to the Bobcats. They're going to play, like you said, usually a number one seed.
Yeah, they'll have their hands full. And they'll be playing on the road to somewhere, of course, as all these things are regional.
And you mentioned whoever goes to jail first.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I don't think Biden's going to jail. They're balking at this impeachment inquiry, and nothing's going to come of it. I don't believe.
Well, impeachment was kind of silly anyway, with the Senate in control. So you're not going to get a conviction. So impeachment's sort of like getting you have to stand in the corner for 5 minutes or something.
Right, and the House is in total disarray. I mean, you had this Buck guy from Colorado. He's going to leave early, and it's just a mess. And it's and then he said there's 3 more that are going to leave, and who are those guys? You just wonder if it's the same fellas that voted to spend more money, on that particular bill. And Matt Rosendale isn't going to run over here in the Eastern District.
Yeah, Matt's going back to Maryland, I guess. Maybe, I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
So, Jerry, aren't you excited about the science report this week that they're pushing the woke, progressive left about replacing beef and sheep for protein with python meat because it's great and it tastes like chicken and it's sustainable. So this is a great thing.
Well, where are they going to get all the bison?
Yeah.
From the herd in the park?
Yeah, no, they're going to get them from Florida.
Bison meat from Florida?
Not bison, python, snake.
Oh, python. Oh, gotcha.
I thought he said.
Okay.
I thought he said bison too. So I was.
Python.
Yeah.
Python snake.
Oh, okay.
Meat.
Well, there seems to be plenty of them
right.
down there. They people have turned them loose for years, and they're overpopulated. So why not?
There you go.
Yeah, I guess that's a good idea. Sure,
Yeah.
I'll try it and see what it's like. I'll add ketchup to it and see what it's like.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to add something. You're going to have to call it something more than snake.
Well, I've been to the jazz festival in New Orleans twice, and I had crocodile, or not crocodile, but gator, deep fried gator and deep fried steak. Not too bad. They both taste like chicken. I mean, as far as taste goes.
Well, the reason it tastes like chicken, guys, is because that's all they feed them.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's the reason.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, that's why I asked Jerry these difficult questions because he knows good.
I can almost guarantee you there's not another show in this nation that is talking about pythons and gators and
eating them.
Not happening.
Well, we go around the world, so who knows, Tom? You never know. There might be somebody over in Eastern Europe that's listening right now in Bulgaria.
Yeah. Well, we do have listeners in the Czech Republic and Russia, Jerry. So, yeah, we are a nation. We're worldwide, yeah.
Yeah, the ones in Russia are silent. They don't want to go to jail.
Yeah, we got Costa Rica listening in, so yeah, we got a lot of.
In Canada, Jerry, one of the women's Supreme Court justices got upset with a presentation by an attorney who represented a lady by calling her a woman. Do you know what?
That's trouble.
You know what she said? She said you misrepresented her. You should be calling her a vagina. She said that. In the hall of the Supreme Court. I'm not kidding you.
Well,
no way.
You're going to have to send me the link on that one, Shane. You're going to have to send me the link on that one, Shane.
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
I could see her calling her a birthing person,
Yeah, it's about misidentifying because you can go to prison for life now if you misidentify someone in Canada.
Right. I heard that, Shane. I can't believe that.
And that was part of it. She was referencing her part of the finding that she made. So there you go.
Wow. Hokey smokes. You got to move back here, Shane.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now I'm going to get slapped and kicked in the nuts because I call a woman a V instead of a woman, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Hey, Trudeau listens to this show, Shane.
That's right.
You're in trouble, so already.
No, I haven't said anything wrong. I'm very careful. I'm addressing two men, all right?
Yeah, right.
Anyone else is just listening.
I had to compliment Mitch McConnell because he did stand a little bit firm against Schumer's rant on the Senate floor the other day. So
another example of woke, Democrats. This is the most senior Democrat he's Jewish, and they still vote for them. They still vote.
Yeah, I understand.
It's just amazing. I tell you, it amazes me.
I
was going to say, Jerry, not to interrupt you, but I still don't understand why anyone in this country, whether they're a politician or an average person or wherever, has anything to say about how Israel runs their deal and how Hamas runs their deal.
That's right.
Exactly. And I think Benjamin Netanyahu responded to that in a very firm way, along with others. But there's world pressure, Tom.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. These are anti-Semites, including the President of the United States, who's ready to transfer billions to Iran, but he's withholding aid to Israel.
Yeah. Where's the
disgusting.
pressure on Germany? They're closer. Where's the pressure on France? Where's the pressure on England?
Yeah, but the thing about it is so dangerous, and I don't get it. There are more Jewish people between Montreal and Philadelphia than in Israel. To me, it's amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and the fact that the president came out and said that Schumer's speech was a good speech, and was it was, and I think the White House was informed about Schumer's speech before he even went out on the floor, and the president did not object at all, which leads me to believe that he's just as anti-Semitic as the rest of those Democrats. The question I have for you, Tom and Shane, is inflation related. Does hyperinflation, is that a cure for our debt problem?
Well, I do know that inflation is about 3 or 4% till you add in fuel and food, and then it jumps up to 18%.
No, but his question is about debt.
Yeah, I know.
So the response to your answer is yes. At 3.2% core rate, which it is, over 10 years, that's 30% of your debt gone.
Yep, there you go.
Oh my! So we need hyperinflation then.
Well, they're starting to panic because they're not getting the money from us. Our generation, the baby boomers. We've got 37 billion in assets, and they're not getting any of it.
Yeah, that'd be right. Well, we just told you about Montana's going to send out supplemental tax bills.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder if your taxes are going to go up, Tom.
Well, I have a good
CPA.
I have a good CPA.
He's the top 1%, so his taxes should go up.
Yeah, I've always paid my fair share.
That's right.
Wait a minute.
Or less than $100, whichever's higher.
You're not getting paid for this, Tom.
I know. See, they can't tax me.
Good grief.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders. He submits a bill for people to work 4 days a week and keep the same amount of money. Now this guy was broke, and his wife bankrupted an online college, and then they ended up with 3 homes, and now they're millionaires after he ran for president. And you look at this guy walking through the halls of Congress, and he's yelling, "Pay your share, billionaires." I'm so tired of it, aren't you, Jerry? I mean, like 10% of the people in America pay 82% of the state, federal, county, and city taxes. I mean, I'm so tired of it.
Well, who isn't? Who isn't, Shane? And the president just signed or is going to sign an executive order to transfer about $1/3 $1 billion to Ukraine. And I thought these kind of things needed congressional approval, but he seems to be going right around Congress. But he's taking it from order to close the border.
Yeah, no, he's taking the money from 4 separate departments of the Defense Department. That's what he's doing. He's scooping money, like your government's done for 50 years, taking money from the, Social Security's fund, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful. It's a shame this election isn't tomorrow.
I know.
Good grief. All right.
I always thought the election day should be the first Tuesday after April 15th.
After tax day, you mean?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think everybody would be motivated to vote on that day.
And India, the largest democracy, starts their elections on the 19th of April. They end in June because there's 190 million eligible voters.
Yep.
6 weeks they vote.
Yeah.
They get a chance to. Yeah. So
we shouldn't
complain.
That's too long.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what'll happen too. Biden will get more votes than Obama ever did, and he'll be elected again if he runs.
Yeah,
which is a good possibility now.
Well,
it really is.
Well, depending on how these court things play out, I don't think a lot of these court decisions are going to happen before Election Day, because we're already in March. And they haven't even gone into court yet, so they're going to have, continuances and time to prepare and what are the charges and all that stuff. So, yeah, he could be president from jail, very easily.
Well, speaking of court decisions, this judge down in Fulton County gave a really great choice, huh? Either one goes.
That was great. Look, cut the baby in half.
Yeah, they're going to leave. Yep, they're going to leave her in place with all her discretions, and we'll see how that plays out. But I don't know.
But now you found out this week that her and her boyfriend spent $500,000 in federal money. So now they got to go before congressional hearings and answer questions. He's getting divorced, so she's going to be called. I mean, it's a mess. The whole thing's a mess.
It is. It just shows you how bad the judicial system is in a number of places. All right, fellas, I'll let the robo-texters get going.
Okay.
Because I know they're going to chime in.
Amen to that. All right, thanks, Jerry. All right, we got to take a short break here from our text line, 478-8298. File this week's podcast under comedy. Shane's jokes are hysterical. So, there you go, Shane. I don't know if I'd go hysterical, but...
I'm trying, Eagle Man.
You're trying. I know you are.
All right.
Let's see. Pence grew a set and said he can't endorse Trump because he's so bad. All right. So there we go. All right. We'll be back. We've still got a full morning to go here. Main Street's closed for the run to the pub. So if you're planning on going someplace on Main Street, find an alternate route this morning. And Shane and I will return right after the news and other important information you need to know right after this. Welcome back, everyone. 27 minutes before the top of the hour. It's March 16th, 2024. Tommy Gilhuff, your morning mayor in the house. Shane Montalban, half man, half amazing on the line. Hey, if you want to be a part of the big broadcast, give us a call, 406-522-TALK, 406-522-TALK. Or you could text us at 406-478-8298 or use our app at AM 1450 KMMS, and you can call us directly from the app. It's great.
Right, or you can stand on top of your house and use flags.
Yeah, you can smoke signals. Everything works with us.
Anything. Everyone's welcome.
That's for sure, yeah. Yep, all views are welcome here. From our text line, 406-478-8298, I wonder how many Trump supporters have not read the indictment or the evidence presented. I wonder how many haven't, Shane.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, I know. Employee number 5 telling how crooked Trump and Walt Naldo were, moved more documents to New Jersey. Shane lies. Franny, I guess you spelled it wrong. Franny spent no federal money. Apparently it's okay to steal from a charity, but a prosecutor can't go Dutch to a dinner. Nope, you can't. So it's that simple. All right. You want any comment on the no federal money spent by, what's her name? Franny Willis?
I heard it on every media. I heard it on, all the, it's on, I'll send you the, if you want me to, I'll send it to you.
Okay. It works for me.
Even at CNSNBC or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well,
MSNBC.
Can't trust those guys.
Yeah, I don't want to go to jail for getting it wrong.
I know, yeah. Well, retired federal judge J. Michael Ledding issued a seething rebuke of the Supreme Court unanimous decision that Colorado could not disqualify former President Trump from the ballot under the 14th Amendment insurrection ban, which preserved his ability to seek a second term. So in a piece Thursday in the Atlantic, he said he's a longtime conservative jurist on the 4th U.S. District Court of Appeals, and said all 9 justices seriously betrayed democracy in their decision, Shane.
Well, that's why he's not on the Supreme Court, because
it must be.
Yeah, look. This is clearly a constitutional issue. It had nothing to do with Trump. Absolutely nothing. And they called it right, and we called it right. We said 9-0, and we did say there's a possibility there might be 8-1, so that one person could write a finding about not agreeing. But nope, 9 also. Even your liberal, justices said no, baby.
Not happening.
No.
Ain't gonna happen. All right.
This is a republic. No.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's where we are. So. All right. Well, he said that Congress should be the deciding factor on how the 14th Amendment is, enforced. And officially, as far as I know, Shane, I don't think Trump's been officially charged with anything to do with the 14th Amendment. Been charged with a whole bunch of other things, but he hasn't been charged with insurrection or treason or anything like that.
Yeah, well, here we go, folks. Some woke left judge who's on a court he shouldn't be doesn't he know the Constitution? The only thing that Congress could do is a 2/3 majority passes a law to amend the Constitution to this, which would require a 2/3 majority in the Senate, and then it would require a majority of the states voting in favor. So, please, read your Constitution.
Yeah.
Wow. Now you know why they want to change everything, and now you know why the progressive left. They're a bunch of secularists. They have no faith in God. Man is the greatest, and as men, they want to make changes as they see fit, and have someone challenge it. So it's disruptive and a wasteful time with that attitude, because you're not going to have a legacy. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, let's see. What I heard here. Shane, they think you heard it on every fake news media. So that might be right, I guess. Let's see. I'm not going there with that stupid crap. So just forget it. Well, the competitive GOP Senate primary in Ohio has turned into a proxy battle between Trump and establishment Republicans, because they got 3 guys running there, Shane.
It's going to be interesting to see how that turns out.
And Bernie Moreno is the Ohio Secretary of State. He's the one endorsed by Trump, and J.D. Vance and Jim Jordan have also put their name on him. Frank LaRousse and Matt Dolan are the other 2 that are going to get in there. But the primary will also test whether Trump, now the presidential nominee, holds enough sway within the party to help make or break candidates in their primaries. So that's going to be the big test there. How much weight does he hold when it comes to down-ticket party members?
Well, Republicans are hoping, Eagle Man, across the country, there's coattails hang to the floor, not to the back of his knees.
Yeah. From our text line, 478-8298, liberty is the ideal. We lost our understanding of the core of our values. It's not democracy, really, because democracy without liberty is nothing but mob rule, exactly what the founders wanted to prevent. And I would agree with that text wholeheartedly, that, we're to the point now where the government is telling us how to think, Shane. They're telling us what kind of proteins we can use. Pronouns. I had a Biden moment there. I had a Biden moment.
Not about the food
either. Please read the Constitution. The vice president can't refuse to count certified state votes. He didn't. He didn't refuse to count them. So What a moot point. Jeez. If you got to text something that we already know, or we don't already know, I guess. That should be it. So.
That should be it.
All right. Oh, man, it's going to be a long morning.
Yeah, you think?
All right. Well, in other news, federal judge again. We're getting federal judges and Trump ad nauseum every week. Shane, federal judge on Thursday denied a motion from former President Trump to dismiss his classified documents case, a determination made shortly after a hearing on various motions from the former president seeking to toss the case. The ruling from Judge Eileen Cannon comes after she expressed skepticism during Thursday's 3-hour meeting that Trump's case could be tossed for unconstitutional vagueness. So, another loss for...
Well, look, this is a legal issue, so now they can appeal it, so that delays that case.
Yeah.
And she didn't rule yet on the second one that they argued before about throwing the case out. So everybody, like, she can rumble around and say no to this, but I haven't decided about that. It's pretty good stuff. I like it.
The judge told Trump's attorney that striking down a statute as the defense is seeking would be quite an extraordinary step. But she also pointedly noted to a prosecutor that no former president had ever been charged with mishandling classified documents until Trump and Biden, I guess.
No, not even President. The first black president, Clinton.
Yeah.
They found the tapes in his sock drawer.
Yeah.
And Obama admitted to taking documents for his library, and so here we go. It's going to be one of these cases. It has nothing to do with the individual. It's about the office and the presidency.
Let's see. You're not going to read the truth that your Mango Messiah record is really terrible. None of this campaign promises came true. So what? Tell me a president where their campaign promises came true, Shane. Any of them?
Lyndon Johnson,
all of them.
The New Society, and
yeah.
Kennedy,
Lyndon trashed the society as well as he could.
That's right, and Kennedy, before the end of the decade, you were on the moon, so there have been a few.
Let's see. Okay, I can't go there.
You can't go there?
I can't go there.
We've been there too many times before.
Well, the Google project thinks the Republicans are going to trash government as we know it. I don't think so. So, not going there.
No.
All right, abortion, Shane. I'm wondering, is abortion still going to be the big ticket thing that keeps the Senate in Democrat hands and maybe dumps the House, even if Trump is elected or if Biden is elected?
Well, it won't be if they put a gag on Lindsey Graham, who probably deserves one, because that's why the Republicans lost the Senate in 2020. Because of what he said about abortion.
Well, you can't not mention it, Shane.
Well, it's up to the states. That's why people running for federal office shouldn't say anything. It's up to their state.
Yeah.
And anybody asks them, particularly Republicans, or if it comes up in a debate between Trump and Biden, if he can have one, just Trump looks at him and says, "It's not up to us. It's not up to the federal government. It's up to the states." Didn't you read the decision, Mr. Biden?
Yeah. Well, a year-long battle over abortion access in a sprawling and sparsely populated region of the U.S., that would be Montana, may come to a head this year in the courts and the ballot box. Challenges to several state laws designed to chip away at abortion access are pending in Montana courts. Meanwhile, abortion rights advocates are pushing a ballot initiative that would add extra protections to the state constitution, I guess protections against in favor of killing babies. And 2 open state Supreme Court seats could shape whether the High Court upholds past decisions or not. Abortion remains legal in the conservative state of Montana because of a 25-year-old state Supreme Court ruling that protected it under the right of privacy and is included in the state's constitution, Shane. So there we are.
Well, since Roe versus Wade, 19.7 million African-American black babies have been aborted. So look, there you go. It's destroyed their minority representation, and it's affected your economy and their lifestyles, and it's 2 generations of children that are gone.
Yeah. Let's see. From our text line, 406-478-8298. Obama took his own notes. He didn't take any classified documents. Shane, what's wrong with you?
He did. He admitted to it.
Biden, as bad as he got infrastructure passed in a Republican House, thank you very much. Obama got Obamacare. Biden reduced the price of insulin. Promises kept. Well, that one was anyway, but.
Well, and we talked about this briefly last week. I want to bring it up because this blew me away. $500 billion Democrats passed to build 600,000 powering stations for electric vehicles. Do you know how many they built?
4.
4.
That's it. There you are. Well, I don't know, Shane. What do you think of DEI? Diversity, equality, and inclusion. I think it should be DIE personally, but I understand why they don't want to spell it DIE.
Well, I think it should be DOA, dead on arrival.
Well, the University of Virginia, Shane, they have right now. They have 235 employees in overlapping departments that deal with DEI at the university, and it's costing them in salaries $20 million a year to do this, whatever.
Well, there's a huge announcement about it. There's a huge amount about. There was a huge story in England about this, where the National Medical Services of England has dropped all usage of any drugs to affect any transition for children. Like all of it's gone. No drugs will be used or issued by the medical health ministry in Britain. So it's fallen apart. And, I think you'll see other countries in Europe ban them. And then, of course, that'll end up with you somewhere at the top of the list.
Well, more than likely. So let's see if we can get a phone call in here before we have to go. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on? All right. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane.
Yeah, promises made, promises kept. I mean, how many times Biden kept screaming he's going to cure cancer? Any liberal that would drink that Kool-Aid is really off in la-la land. I don't think that's going to happen. And the other thing this morning is poor old Livingston over here. It's going to be called Lovingston, but they're going to have a homosexual 3-day parade and drag shows and everything. So if you want to gather up your busloads of people and bring them to Lovingston over here, then everybody that's normal here is going to leave town for that weekend. But we can be put on the map. Good old Lovingston is going to do her. So I just wanted to throw that at you today.
Sounds good to me. I'm down with that.
Well, it's an amazing thing about cancer. For over 100 years, the medical industry segregated cancer as a separate disease, from viruses and other things. And then it was the Australian doctor that proved that stomach cancer can be cured, and that cancer is a bacterial infection. Or a virus. Some are viruses and some are bacterial. The bacterial ones can be cured, like stomach cancer.
Okay.
So it's for them. That's why they don't talk about it. And for him to say that, clearly he doesn't read enough about medical, history.
Well, he made a flub that he had cancer when he was talking about people. He said, "Oh, all of those of us who have cancer." So, but that's just another flub on his part. But well, cancer's not the death sentence it used to be by any means.
That's right.
Certainly, there's a lot of it that is curable, but some that aren't, unfortunately, for some people. So.
The viral ones are becoming more and more manageable.
Yeah.
It's similar to HIV and the flu virus. They're manageable.
There you go. Hey, thanks for the call, man. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. All right. Let's see. From our text line, 406-478-8298, Obamacare was a disaster, and it is a disaster. The poorer you are, the more you pay for Obamacare.
Yeah, it's getting to be that way.
Well, it started out that way. If you're in the bronze, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kamala went to a Planned Parenthood office this week. Democrats need something to counter the failures of the current administration. That's from our great listener, Tom, who is out there listening. Go. Thank you, Tom, for signing your text and for being a part of the show. Yeah, I would agree that they don't have much to run on, Shane. They got a bad economy. Gas prices have gone back up. Thank you, Brandon. And we're at 18% on food. Everything is up in food, so your paycheck is not going as far as you would like for it to.
That's right.
So there we are.
And MSNBC this week confirmed what I've been saying for a month, that the global wealth of individuals on a country-by-country basis is moving their money to invest in the U.S., and that's what's holding the market together. Now, if they decide to shift that to India, which is probably a better opportunity, we're all in trouble. So sovereign wealth of individuals is holding up this market. And you saw the news this week of insider reports, $11 billion in sale of stocks. That guy from Amazon sold, the guy from Facebook sold, the family from Walmart sold. But you can understand that because, they paid a quarterback what they signed him for, $250 million or something. So, yeah, and they bought the Broncos at the same time. But why are these people selling their stock? I mean, they can replace it all with options and they have preferred shares they can convert, but that's a lot of stock in the last 3 months.
Amen to that. Yeah. Well, Shane, they've been fact-checking the Biden State of the Union, which they do every year, and also the rebuttal from the Republican side. And one of the things they talked about was Biden suspended all deportations. On Biden's first day of office, the Department of Homeland Security published a memo pausing the removal of certain people illegally in the U.S. for 100 days. Federal courts quickly stopped that pause. Yeah, that was one of Biden's campaign promises. I won't deport anyone in my first 100 days. And here they came en masse.
Well, when he went off the rails with Laken Riley calling her Lincoln, holding the button up, and then he said that the legal aliens, how does the White House get this wrong? Look, doesn't someone say to him before he does these speeches, now this is not Lincoln, it's Laken, so don't get that wrong. And it's not illegal. These are newcomers.
Right.
Now, I think you make it easy by just calling them newbies. Like, why shouldn't we just call them newbies?
Yeah, that works. Works for me. Well, as I said before, the government is at the point right now where they are telling us how to speak, how to think, and it's all on the Democrat side. The pronouns is all Democrat. The DIE is all Democrats. The the drag queens and wherever is all Democrats. It's I don't know. How anybody could vote Democrat is beyond me. I guess I understand that you'll be vilified in your circle, your bubble, if you deviate from the message of kill babies and let everybody in, and you're being cruel, and save every country on earth, and don't fight wars, and do this and do that, and so. If you go on social media and try to voice your opinion, you're going to be in trouble. Half your friends will defriend you, and the other half will call you out.
Well, that's because they have this horrible trouble with their talking points. 35% of voters are hardcore Democrats, but of 18%, they're minority groups.
Yeah.
So if you start losing we're talking about Hispanics,
sure,
and African Americans, and LGBTQRX and the rest of the alphabet, and abortion and racism, all the talking points are meant to try and secure the support of the minorities in their tent, which are cutting holes in the back of the tent to get out.
Yeah, maybe. All right. That's going to wrap it up for this segment. It's Saturday. It's March 16th. Downtown is closed for the run to the pub. Main Street's closed, I should say. So if you're going downtown, maybe pick an alternate route to get to wherever you're going. Shane and I will return right after the news at the top of the hour. Welcome back, everyone. 7 minutes after the hour of 9 a.m. It's Saturday. It's March 16th, 2024. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor in the house. Shane Metalbin, half man, half amazing, is in Kamloops, Canada, of all places. No one knows where that is, so I guess.
Of course they do. It's 500 miles directly north.
Okay.
It's the sister city of Bozeman, high desert, same climate, same seasonal weather that you have. Today it'll be 70 degrees by 1 o'clock.
Let's see, you guys claim the economy sucks. So what matrix are you using? Domestic oil production record, unemployment low. Your narrative doesn't hold up. Well, I don't know if you've noticed the price of the pump lately, because the glut of oil is causing the price to go up to slow people down. So that's how it works.
That's right, and the cost of food is at 18% because now inflation is not under control and moved up to 3.2, and core inflation, but you had fuel, like you mentioned, and food, and you're at 18%.
Yeah, not
a good sign. Not a good sign at all.
Yeah, and the unemployment rate rose to 3.7, though still near the lowest since 1969. Well, if it was lowest since 1969, that means it was low during Trump too.
Well, that's true, and it's lower than that because there's 20 million more newcomers in your country, not illegal, but of course they're illegal, that are working, and they're off, they're under the radar, and they're not included in the numbers. So there you are.
Yeah, there we go. So, well, the other thing too, an alternative measure of unemployment, which includes discouraged workers and those holding part-time jobs for economic reasons, edged higher to 6.7%. So we got more people that are taking a second job, Shane.
That's right. That's the other issue.
Yeah. And also, a lot of these jobs simply replace the COVID jobs.
Well, that's the biggie, isn't it? Especially in the health industry. And so that's why a lot of these health stocks that people were, enjoying the profits from COVID, so, engaged, let's say.
Yeah. I like the party that doesn't want to ban books or tell parents what to do with their children. Well, from what I understand, it's not the government that's upset about the books in school libraries. It's the parents that are upset about the books in school libraries.
That's right.
I don't know of any government agency that's out to ban books.
All politics are local, and
that's it.
everyone has voted for the people on these education boards to, make these choices for them, and now it's come back to slap them in the face.
Yeah.
Boomerang.
Yeah. I don't care about proteins. My 401k is doing gangbusters. Well, so's mine. So, well, I don't have a 401k because I'm not a.
Oh, come on. You didn't sell your Apple stock 2 weeks ago when it was $20 higher?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't sold anything. I'm thinking about selling some of it, though, because the Facebook has almost tripled. Well, it's 4 times more than when I bought it, so.
Yeah, well, sell half of it.
So I'm going to sell part of that, yeah. And,
get more than your money out. And same with Apple.
Yeah, I don't care if someone gets an abortion, unemployment is at record lows. Yeah, that's a great comparison. I guess the people doing the abortion are employed, so that's your justification, I guess, huh?
Yeah, that was a sneaky email. They really didn't think you were going to read it.
Yeah. Let's see. So, Tom, I assume you've read the document's indictment. What part of it do you find fault with? I don't find fault with any part of it. Every bit of it looks good to me. So take it to court.
There you go.
I think it's great. I'm quitting my side gig as a DoorDasher because all the DoorDash are border crossers and they run in packs. You'll see 4 of them in a car or 4 cars parked together. They've squeezed out all Americans doing deliveries. You say, so what? Well, your job may be next. Well, unless somebody wants to work for free, they can welcome to it, I guess.
Well, you know, when you talk about indictments, the one in the federal courthouse in Manhattan, against Trump for his bookkeeping and paying off, someone he had an affair. So this is one of these things about your country that amazes me. So the Attorney General and the Department of Justice finally released 76,000 pages to the prosecutor prosecuting Trump with this case.
Yeah.
So I guess that's going to be delayed. If not, there may be something in there that, his attorneys probably will find that they were hiding all along. So these kinds of things that sort of pop up with people that we get messages from, it's pretty intense, baby.
Oh, there you go. Well, the other thing, real quick, I should remind people of that, as most of you know, we record all of our shows, and they're at kmmsam.com. Go to kmmsam.com, click on Tom and Shane's podcast. One of the things that we've started doing quite a while ago is links to the sources of the information we talk about.
That's right.
And one of the things that we'll have, and we put those in the description of the day, whatever the day is, and we got hour 1, hour 2, and hour 3 for those of you who haven't gone there before. And on this week, I'm going to put up the entire 5-hour interview with President Biden and Robert.
Oh, you
Hur.
have to.
Yeah. So
You
So that's up, or will be up before 11:30 this morning. Is when I usually get the show up. So.
Well, you are the producer, director, and the host.
I sweep out the boys.
The main guy, running the soundboard too.
There you go. All right, let's take some phone calls. 406-522-TALK is the number. 406-522-8255. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning.
Morning.
I'll just say this is Elena from Phillipsburg.
Wow. All right.
All right. This is the second time I've called.
Yeah.
So, but
well, I'm glad to have you here.
I'm sorry.
I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you. Do you know what today is the beginning of? What important week we're celebrating?
I don't know. Let me look at my calendar.
Freedom of Information.
Oh, well, that's
Sunshine Week.
There you go.
We definitely need that. We need both.
Oh, and I think, Montana, it's part of our Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And the way things are going in Montana, I think we should be looking in the obituaries. Because I've only seen this in one newspaper so far. And today is the beginning. That's pretty sad.
That is sad. Yeah.
And
well, as I said before, right now with the pronouns and the books in schools and everything, the government is cracking down on what you can say. And where does that? How do you celebrate freedom of speech week if I've got to use particular pronouns and I have to walk on eggshells using the English language?
Well, it's not so much freedom of speech, it's freedom of information.
Well, that too, yeah.
And especially as an election year, as far as who's running, who's not running, that's making an informed vote. If you have the information out there. And the media, the media is like lopsided, but so is the government. So is local government. I've never seen them ignoring open door policies. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about the open border. I'm talking about making decisions with the public involvement. Yeah. Instead, we're treated like we're an annoyance. Sit down, shut up, watch your football game, have a beer, and let us do the job you elected us to do.
Right.
And so I just wanted to bring that up to you guys.
Yeah,
and,
thank you.
This is the first time I've only seen it in one newspaper in Montana, and that's just sad. Sad.
Well, I'm sorry we didn't mention it when we went through our days of what day it is. So you have done a great public service to bring that to our attention. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be appreciated and not condemned because I ask questions
Amen.
And I don't get the answers. But anyway, you have a great weekend.
All
Thanks
right.
for taking my call.
All right. Happy St. Pat's Day, and thanks for the call. We appreciate it. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. All right. Well, we were talking about Joe Biden and the State of the Union. He blamed the Republicans for sidelining the Senate border bill, and I don't know. Trump seemed to get it done pretty well without Congress. So I don't know. Maybe Biden feels that if I put the blame on Congress, then I can't be held responsible for it. So,
no, Biden just figures he can lie as much as he wants because everybody knows that has paid attention to this issue for 20 years. Yeah. There's laws on the books that have stopped it. Trump used them for the first time and showed it could work, and he, with his executive action, within the first 5 days, he signed executive orders, canceling all of the executive orders Trump had in place. So everybody knows the story, so he's just lying.
He also said the bill would hire 100 more immigration judges to tackle the backload of 2 million cases. I don't know, Shane. It seems to me like immigration judges, that'd be at the federal level. Wouldn't they all have to be approved by the Senate? I don't know, right. But I would think so.
Yep, they would have to be, and not only that, but it's just rapture. I mean, it's a waste of time of bringing up a point that's irrelevant when you have 20 million people that have come in now since he's been president. Yeah. They're all being handed summons now dated to 2035. So, it's one of these talking points he thinks he can lie about, and people aren't going to fact check him or check it out. And they're good at it. They're just darn good. They're darn good at it.
Yeah. From our text line, 406-478-8298. So you don't care about our indictments. I said I didn't have any problem with the indictment. I don't have any problem with anything that's in it. You care about courts. Yeah, I do. I do care about courts because you got to have your day in court, So you support a man convicted of a fake university, sold from a charity, and sexually assaulted a woman. What does that say about you? You don't care. Not that I don't care. It's whatever I think doesn't matter. Nobody's going to call me and say, Tom, what do you think we ought to do about Trump? You know? Is Jack Smith going to give me a call?
Well, that's right. Number one, he closed the university, paid everybody's money back. Everybody. You know, it was one of those one universities 30 years ago. It was another business he'd try, see if it'd work. It didn't. So shut it down, paid everyone back, you know, bought the painting that he bought for it himself. And then with regards to sexual, he's never been charged with any kind of sexual abuse. And the case is about paying her to keep quiet, which I just mentioned in the last block. You know, your attorney general for the last 3 years has kept 6,000 pages of documents from the prosecutor in that case. So, like,
well, I think you're mixing E. Carroll and Stormy Daniels together. E. Carroll won her case of sexual harassment or sexual
harassment.
Whatever it was.
That's not
whatever it was. I don't think it wasn't harassment. It was assault or whatever, something.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah, the bill would hire 100 more immigration judges to tackle a backlog of 2 million. Well, the backlog is higher, it's 3 million. The backlog grew by 1 million cases from November 22 to November 23. And we want 4,300 more asylum officers and new policies so they can resolve cases in 6 months instead of 6 years. On average, asylum cases in immigration court take more than 4 years to be resolved, according to the 2023 report published by the American Immigration Council and Immigrants' Rights Advocacy Group. Easy for me to say.
Yeah, but the problem with this is that he's not mentioning that the minute that one of these people steps in the court before this kind of judge, they're entitled to, being in America, to counsel. So where are the public counsel that's going to be provided to these immigrants, and what's that going to cost?
Yeah. Trump, he also said that he quotes Putin, do whatever the hell you want. That's a quote. Trump wasn't directly involving Russia to do whatever it wanted to NATO allies. He was telling a story during a rally in South Carolina about what he said to an unnamed ally years ago. Trump claimed he was tough on NATO and got results, misrepresenting several facts about the alliance and his record in the process. So that was when he was talking about that NATO's got to pay their fair share, and a lot of them weren't, including Canada, Shane.
Well, now they all do. Old story.
Yeah. Oh my God! Stop bitching about Trump. I'm sick of it. Yeah, I'm sick of it too. That's why I haven't put up 60% of what's sent to me. Trump was found to do this. I miss where Hunter's running for office and held a government position. Well, it makes a difference if, and the big question is if Hunter included Dad in any illegal activities. So that's where we find that. My predecessor told the NRA he's proud he did nothing on guns when he was president. Trump did say that, even though the record was more nuanced. Speaking at National Rifle Association Convention in Pennsylvania in February, Trump said, during my 4 years, nothing happened, and that was a great pressure on me having to do with guns. We did nothing. We didn't yield. So, let's see. My predecessor came to office determined to see Roe v. Wade overturned. He's the reason it's overturned, and he brags about it. Trump appointed 3 judges that were instrumental in overturning Roe v. Wade. I don't know what to tell you.
It was bad law. I mean, it just, and we went through that because, there were several findings written by several members of the court, and you have to read through all of them to understand how complicated the argument was. But the bad law was never meant for. The case was never meant to be about abortion. It was just women's rights and actually to equal pay, but they expanded it.
Yeah. There are 1,000 billionaires in America. You know what average federal tax is on those billionaires? No, they're making great sacrifices, 8.2%. This is misleading. The White House report arrived at 8.2% figure by including unrealized gains in the income calculations of the 400 richest U.S. families. Currently, if people see their stock shares rise in value over time, those gains are not taxed until the shares are sold. So if the shares are never sold, they aren't taxed. Under current law, which Biden proposed to change, stocks may be passed to the next generation with little or no taxation. So those of you whose 401k is doing great, pass it on to your heirs.
Well, that's right, because most of them, we've learned from the last 100 years, by the third generation, are bankrupt or spent it.
Yeah. Well, no evidence after 4 years. Hunter and Dad are linked. Comer is an idiot. Well, I'd agree with that. I keep saying, show me the gun. Show me the smoking gun, Comer. I haven't seen it. You know, you talk a great game, but you're like Adam Schiff on the Russian deal against Trump. You know, if you got something, put up or shut up.
And we should remind everyone, over $150 billion of these billionaires' dollars have already been committed to foundations or philanthropy, or and not even to the children. So you look at the Oracle of Utah. Of Berkshire Hathaway. You know, the great Buffett. He's leaving a very small amount of money to his children, and committed a lot of it to Mr. Gates and his crew.
Yeah. Well, Republican Senator Mitch McConnell, we talked about this a little bit earlier, Shane, on Thursday again pressed Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, Republican from Louisiana, to take up the Senate-passed national security spending package, which includes $60 billion for Ukraine, despite Johnson's message to GOP senators this week that he's moving in a different direction. McConnell didn't express much interest in waiting weeks or maybe months for the House to come up with an alternative proposal to help Ukraine. I don't have a problem with helping Ukraine, Shane, if we've got an end date somewhere. You know, I realize we didn't have an end date for World War II or World War I or the Civil War. You know, it just ended. But still, I think there's got to be a turning point somewhere. And it seems like when you got Russians killed and Ukrainians killed, and the fighting just keeps going on and nobody seems to be coming out ahead, I don't know. But we'll have to take that up in the next hour.
Okay, sir.
But still, I wonder, with Ukraine being as corrupt as it is, Shane, I'm wondering how much of that $60 billion is really going where it's needed. That's my only question, with knowing Zelensky as not an honest guy, I would say. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. We'll be back, though. We still got an hour and a half to go. I mean, the show's only half over. And we've got plenty more to talk about. So we'll be back right after the news at the bottom of the hour. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. It's 27 minutes for the hour of 10 a.m. It's Saturday. It's March 16th, 2022. That's Mountain Time, by the way. If you're listening to us outside our normal listening area, we have listeners in Russia, Costa Rica, Czech Republic. They're all over the place. So we're happy if you're out there listening, joining us. Hey, don't forget, all of our shows are recorded, so if you missed anything or you want to fact check us on what we actually said, KMMSAM.com. Simply click on Tom and Shane's podcast. It'll put you to a link that'll take you over to our podcasts, and you can download them. And we also put links to the information that we're talking about, so that you could read more detail about our stories if you're curious about what they are. Tom Eagle left your morning mayor in the house. Shane Metalman, half man, half amazing. And Shane, after providing jobs to the Sealy Lake community for 75 years, Pyramid Mountain Lumber will shut down its operation this spring. In a press release sent Thursday afternoon, Pyramid Mountain Lumber officials cite labor shortages, lack of housing, unprecedented raising costs, plummeting lumber prices, and the cost of living in western Montana to cripple Pyramid's ability to operate. So they're going to cut off logs in March 31st. They'll run the inventory through the sawmill and surface, sell the lumber before auctioning off the mill equipment. So that's sad for that small town, because about half the people in the city work there, I think. So
that's right. And this all started back in the 1980s when the Southeast United States started growing trees. They would only take 7 years to grow, and they could turn it into fiber and fiberboard. And, then they basically created, plywood out of fiber. And so wood became a lost lumber to the rest of the industry. So 2x4s were pretty much it, or 4x4s or beams. Mm-hmm. And with housing the way it is right now, it's understandable that that whole industry is down because of it.
Yeah, well, it's a sad. It's really sad for the people in that city, because, obviously, those folks are going to have to find jobs somewhere. And also, speaking of the unemployment, if you remember, Shane, we had a caller last week who went through a list of layoffs that are
yes.
coming of all these people. So, from our text line, 478-8298, doubting that Hunter's work is connected to his dad is like doubting that a bear does his business in the woods. one of the 8 words I can't say on radio.
That's right. And the Pope does his business in the woods too,
That's right. So there you are. Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. I think if you're doing something illegal and you're including the president's brother in your activities, and yeah, it's pretty remote that Dad's not in there somewhere. Now, I haven't read the indictment against Biden, so I don't know, obviously. So there you are.
Well, that's why you have this whole political issue about this investigating, to decide whether or not they want to get rid of him, right? And because you can't indict a president, but apparently you can indict his political enemies in an election year. Although there's an unregistered regulation of the Justice Department in your country that they won't try or proceed with any court cases with a person that's running for office in an election year. But that, of course, none of that applies to the Republican nominee. So it's vice versa, buddy.
All right. Let's take a phone call. 406-522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Well, this is Clint.
There he is.
Good morning, Tom. Morning, Shane.
Morning, sir.
I got something here locally to talk about, Tom. Are you interested in it?
Sure.
You think you're interested in it?
Local is everything we do here.
Okay. I got a friend up here that I've known for all my life that's going to have a gravel pit, okay?
Yeah, they got one planned in Four Corners.
No, it ain't at Four Corners. It's on up there above Gateway.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry, Gateway, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and a friend of mine owns that land there. Mm-hmm. They're some of the founders of this valley. They came here in the 1800s. Now, my question is this. He owns the land. He pays taxes on it. He wants to have a gravel pit because now the taxes are getting so bad he can't hardly make it to get enough to pay the taxes. So he decided that maybe his grandkids would have a gravel pit and they could sell gravel to the people that are coming in here. Mm-hmm. Well, alongside of him, a few yards away, is homes. Now, my question is this. These folks that's got all these homes up there don't want a gravel pit. Mm-hmm. Now, who's got the right here? Is it the guy that first came here to this country and settled the land? Is it his right to have that gravel pit? Well, everybody says that he can have a gravel pit if everybody else says that he can, his neighbors. Well, these neighbors don't want him to have the gravel pit because of their homes.
Well, their homes, traffic, all sorts of things would be impacted on that area.
Yeah. Well, here's the question. My question is this. How can another person or people tell the man that's owned the land before they ever came, before the houses were ever built, do with his land what he wants? So what basically I'm saying, you don't own the land anymore, Tom.
No, you don't. No.
It's I'm like you. I want a state sales tax of some sort, and I don't know why the legislature don't take this up, and so that you and I could actually own our land.
Yeah.
You're for that, I know.
You're talking about a property tax, not a sales tax.
Our property, where we live, we should own it, not have to pay no taxes.
I would agree with that. You know, I think either after you reach a certain age or you spend a certain number of years in that property, I feel that sooner, you know, because every individual in the United States of America pays lot rent in property taxes.
That's right.
You don't own your land. You don't pay those property taxes. It doesn't make a damn how much value your land is worth. You're out of there. You're on the street.
That's right. Well, here's the bad part of this gravel pit. These folks has come in there and built these subdivision houses, you know, mm-hmm. and they don't think about the property values. In other words, the assessable values of the property they built the houses on, and next to my friend, Mr. Black, mm-hmm. What has happened there that raises his property taxes on assessable value.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not right. And I don't know what we're going to do about it, but I hope that the grandkids, Doug's grandkids, can do what they want to do with their own land. That's what... My God, I don't want the government dictating, you know, to what I can do with my land. Now, out here where I live, I have 3 acres right here on the river. It's worth a horrendous amount of money. Mm-hmm. Okay? I can't put an outhouse out here, an outdoor, outhouse, without buying a damn permit.
Yep, that's right.
See, so like you say, we don't really own our land anymore, mm-hmm. but yet we're having to pay the government to keep the schools going and everything else. And like the guy the county commissioner over there in Beaverhead County says, 60% of our taxes go to schools. Where the hell does the other 40% go? Mm-hmm. Well, I know where it goes. Just read your tax statement and it'll tell you.
Goes to everything from weed control to sunshine abatement.
And parks and trails and everything else, things we really don't need. And here's one other thing we paid for. We paid for a new high school mm-hmm. that has glass staircases.
Wow.
Can you imagine glass staircases in a high school?
Sounds dangerous.
Didn't they raise money, bonds? Didn't they sell bonds to build that high school, Tom?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and go in that school.
Flint's right.
Yeah. Well, in answer to your question, Clint, if let's say he wanted to put a prison in there, or a packing plant, or a nuclear facility, or a refinery.
Yeah.
You can't have, if it's for the public good, which a gravel pit would be, I guess, for development and everything else.
Right.
You can say what you want about development, whether good or bad, but still, I think if it's going to be dangerous to anybody or detrimental to the environment or the area, you got to have all these environmental studies and everything done for that. But yeah,
if I may, that's what I was going to say. You're right, Clint. It's not about owning the property; it's about the mineral rights. And anything that comes out of the ground, particularly in Montana, is considered some type of mineral. So you're under the federal Environmental Protection Agency, the Montana Environmental Protection. Then you're under the land. I mean, there's so much regulation that you're involved with federally and state that they make it impossible for anybody to benefit from the minerals that they own.
That's right. When I retired in 1988 from Newmont Gold down in Elko, Nevada, and I know all about mineral rights. I helped develop their mills, me and another guy. We did a lot. I know all about mineral rights and one thing and another like that. You can have them on your land, and if you want to mine them, and somebody wants to stop you, they can. It happened over there on the park, on Yellowstone National Park on the west side of it, when they wanted to do some mining there, and they were 15 miles away from the border of the park, and they stopped them, but they had to pay. The thing is, if the people don't want Mr. Black and his grandsons to have a gravel pit, let him buy him out. Let him buy that piece of land. If they're so dead set against him having a gravel pit on his own land and paying for it all by himself, let the neighbors that are opposing it buy it out, buy the land out. It would take millions of dollars to buy it.
It's a group of gentlemen, bankers, whatever you want to call them, that have put money up to build 600 windmills in your state.
Shane,
it took them 6 years. It took them 6 years.
Pass on.
What's that?
My wife's son, Steve, him and his wife moved to Florida. And they went to a gun show in Florida. You know what the people down there are ready for? They're ready for civil war. Steve told us, he says, they're so mad down there, it's unbelievable. He says, you don't have to turn in anything to the government about buying a gun. He says, he says, they're just buying them and selling them and ammunition. He says, the people down there are all talking about civil war.
Yeah.
Well, what the hell is that saying to you?
Well, it's going to be a long, hot summer, is what it says to me.
It's not good, Tom, and I hate to but I'm telling you facts. I'm not telling you hearsay. It's facts. Mm-hmm. And so I just wanted to mention that, and I want to mention about the gravel pit. And like I said, if the people around there don't like it, let them buy the land.
Well, if they buy the land, then they're on the hook for the taxes on it. So
that's
that
right.
may not
the
be
taxes aren't getting cheaper, as you know.
I know.
Tom.
That's why I say that may be the deterrent from buying the land around them because of the increase in taxes. But I got to let you go, Shane. I got another caller waiting.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say that. And thanks, Tom and Shane, for letting me expound upon that, because I feel bad because we don't own our land anymore.
Yeah, me too.
See you later.
All right,
Bye.
Thanks. All right. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Well, I hope an announcement that's okay to make.
Sure.
20-some years ago, Shane's sister Tammy emceed a fundraiser for Petra Academy. Mm-hmm. And today, at the Senior Center at 2 o'clock, there's a gathering to show appreciation for Louise Turner, that was the founder of Petra Academy, that opened the doors 9/11/1995. And Louise, bless her heart, She was the headmaster and actually taught 4 history classes, which were not civic classes, real history classes at Petra.
Yeah.
And so to show appreciation for her 30-some years at classical Christian education, yes, there's a gathering at the senior center and with treats. And
what time will that be?
At 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. Okay.
And I appreciate.
And the address?
Pardon me?
It's at the community center.
The address.
It's a senior center, Shane.
At the
People know where it is.
By the fairgrounds.
Yeah, it's by the fairgrounds, across the street
in Bozeman. So I appreciate your venue and getting in again right after Clint.
Okay.
So what a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I remember I moved here 2 years before Petra Academy started. It's a school for. Yeah, it's one of these schools that's a step above public education, Shane. So, so 2 o'clock at the Senior Center on Tamarack, across from the fairgrounds. Check that out. Go give your support to this fine organization. From our app chat line, Shane, AM 1450 KMMS. Widgets 101, $2 2x4s doesn't buy $5 milk. There you go. That's pretty simple. Like you always say, numbers don't lie, people do.
There you go.
Okay. Let's see. It's his land, his right for a gravel pit. I've seen the mean sign across the road trying to stop the pit. I'm 4th generation in the valley here, raised on a ranch. Thanks for supporting him, Clint. And that's from our listener, Karen. Karen, thanks so much for signing your text. We appreciate that. Put your money where your mouth is. I'm no expert on bear excrement, but after 3 years, Comer's come up with nothing. Hunter testified his dad had nothing to do with his grifting, Chinese suckers. It's time to let it go, and I'd agree. Either step up or step out. Comer's been on the air for, God, how long, Shane? 4 years? 3 years? Ever since Biden was there, or was elected, I guess.
2 years.
Yeah. Well,
they've done all this in 2 years.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just as soon don't take to the airwaves till you got something to tell us. This is the Mueller report. It's the Durham report. It's all this crap all over again. I don't know. It's not worth it. Clint is right. It's not good that we have people in a certain party wanting civil war. Yeah, those Democrats they're tough. I know it's hard to believe, but maybe a guy who lied to his 3 wives actually lost the election, actually lied about his promises, and is a chronic liar. Well, I'll put him up against Biden as far as a chronic liar. If you want to talk about kitchen fires and being arrested with Nelson Mandela, and the list goes on and on.
The only difference is that he's been doing it for 52 years.
Yeah, that's where you are.
Trump's only been around 8, so that's.
Yeah. Let's see. Clint's solution for Mr. Black is insufficient. The people should pay the blacks annually the amount that the gravel pit would generate. I don't see that happening. The same people who said Clinton's affair was horrible and said character matters have ditched all principles. I haven't. Both Clinton and Trump have not the character to hold any office. Well, you can put Kennedy in there. You can put George Washington in there.
Johnson.
You can put Johnson in there. You can put Eisenhower in there. I don't know. It's
and a lot more we don't know about.
Yeah. Let's review. Obama inherited an economy in free fall and left a booming economy. Trump inherited a boom economy and left it in free fall. No, he didn't. It's ridiculous. Inflation was 1.6 when he left.
Obama took the presidency when the economy had collapsed.
Yeah.
Do people forget what happened with banking? And, we're looking at now, from what the Fed chairman said and the Secretary of Treasury said this week, a similar situation brewing.
Yeah.
So you can expect very likely that one of your major 7 banks could go down. And regional banks, we already had 5 last year. Yeah. And I think there could easily be a half a dozen based on news releases I've been reading about those banks. So, look, Obama picked up a mess, and he had to do things that clearly Bush tried to implement, and he followed through with them. And as a result of that, a year later, March of 2009, after everything turned around. And so I've been talking 20 years ago that people can't remember.
I know. Let's take a phone call here. We're up against the top of the hour. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Yeah, this is Robert.
Hi, Robert.
I agree with Clint, but I think he might be a day or two behind. My understanding is the gravel pit is a go. It's going to go through. They failed to get it stopped, and I heard that from a pretty reliable source. Anyway,
yeah, that's my information too. That it's going to happen.
Yeah. Anyway, another thing. Last weekend, both of you guys thought that I think Britt or Casey or what her name, Katie Britt, you thought that she did a terrible job. Educate me where I missed that.
Well, I think she didn't really address all of the points Biden made. She talked mostly about the economy, the way it was. In the next hour, we can do a fact check because I've got a fact check on what she did. I don't have time to go into it right now because we're up against the clock at the top of the hour. But I can go through some things. Yeah, I can go through some things. Yeah, I think she's a nice person. I didn't have anything against her. I just thought it was pretty weak, and it's really hard to do that rebuttal when you're sitting in a kitchen looking at a camera. It's tough to do.
Yeah, I thought she did awesome on the border thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought she was good there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well I'll listen and.
All right. Yeah. Hey, thanks for the call. All right.
Eagle Man, I sent you a link. Congressman Jordan is calling the Attorney General of Georgia before him about the federal money they spent to investigate Trump. So they want to know what was spent on and everything. So you have the link. So
okay.
There it is.
All right. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this segment. And we still got a full hour to go. The run to the pub is downtown going on. So avoid Main Street if you can. And we will return right after the news at the top of the hour. And some very important messages from, Hallow School Bus Service and Swedish Funding and guide dogs for the blind. You don't want to miss any of that. So while you're making your sandwich, leave the radio on. We'll be right back. 8 minutes after the hour of 10 a.m. Mountain Time. It's Saturday. It's March 16th, 2024. It's St. Patrick's Day weekend. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all the listeners out there. We really appreciate you guys. And take it easy tomorrow on the green beer. You got to go to work on Monday, so don't get out of control. I mentioned earlier about our text line or our recorded broadcast, Shane, that we're now at 14,800 downloads of 921 shows. So
we're pretty proud of that, and we thank everybody.
Getting right up there, yeah. So yeah, all of our podcasts are recorded, and they're at kmmsam.com. Don't forget the AM, kmmsam.com. And Tom and Shane's podcasts are in the black banner, the very first one on the left. And scroll down the page. There's a link to take you over to our podcast page. And as I said earlier, we've started linking the information that we talk about here to so that you can read more about it about what we're talking about in more detail, because we try to cover a lot of topics here rather than just do one an hour or something like that. We want to do different things each week, so we want to make sure that we cover that. Caller asked about the rebuttal, Kate Britt's rebuttal to the State of the Union of President Biden, and when I was critiquing her as not doing a very good job, I think a lot of it has to do with you're sitting in your kitchen looking at a camera, and it's not the same thing as Biden talking to a packed house full of people. It's really tough to do. I mean, we do that here. We sit here, and I'm talking to this microphone, and I'm constantly thinking, what do I say? What do I say? And so it's, even though she had a prepared speech, it's still pretty tough. So I think I had more of a problem with her delivery. She came across as the poor housewife, kind of. What did you think, Shane?
Well, it's a difficult thing to do, number one.
Yeah.
They're always, when they do this, either party, they're always putting a new face out there for the future.
Yeah.
And I just thought that's what she should talk about, the future.
Yeah.
And I don't think she needed to do the talking points about the Republican Party and the election. I would have just talked about the future. And there's nothing wrong with comparing how nice things were 4 years ago to the future, but let's get back to the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To play a pun. Oh, by the way, the person that sent you a text that I lied about the federal money spent on the Trump case in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I sent you the link with Congressman Jordan of Ohio, who's the chairman of the Judiciary Committee in the House. So, yeah, they're going to call her up to detail the federal money they spent.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
You asked for the link. I sent it.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with the caller that she did a good job on the border part, because she challenged Biden on suspending deportations, the halting of the border wall, and the amnesty. He talked about amnesty and whatever, and some of the fact checking is what I call really nitpicky, Shane. She said Biden chose to release to the U.S. the man that killed Laken Riley. Well, presidents don't sign off on releases of illegals. So, from that standpoint, but the Border Patrol did release the guy into the U.S., legally across the border in September of 2022, and he was paroled in, and we talked about paroling some time ago, Shane. I think last year we talked about it, where it's sort of like a parole from prison. You got to report and got to tell people where you are and all that stuff. Like that's really going to happen. So yeah. So that was the thing there. But anyway, if you want to read this rebuttal of her, it'll be on our recorded site at kmmsam.com. Click on that and go down the page, and it'll send you over to our podcast site. And we have it'll be in the description there. So if you want to talk about some things, but I did agree with the caller. I thought you did a good job on the border because next to abortion, that is a pretty big thing, particularly in places this vote is going to count, Shane. Somebody asked me, how is this immigration affecting you, Tom? Well, it isn't really, other than, but in New York City, in Chicago, in L.A., in San Francisco, in San Diego, and other cities around the nation, I think people are fed up with the crime. There's crime photos or video every week, Shane.
Well, this is the problem with not protecting your sovereignty. and having all these millions come in from your southern border. The governor of Florida had a news conference because they interdicted a boat with 25, 30 Haitians on board.
Right.
Their fisheries of Florida and the Coast Guard. And not only were there 25 to 30 people on it, it was all men, with guns and drugs. This is, I mean, wow. People now that you don't want in your country are going, well, I'll take a shot. I mean, why not? I mean, millions haven't got in. So it's one of these issues that will be getting worse and worse and worse as the year goes on.
Yeah. Well, getting back to Kate Britt's State of the Union response, the only thing Politico or PolitiFact, fact checker, the border was the only thing that they went after her for in their critique. And as I said, I agree with the caller. I think she did a good job on the border, but how could you not do a good job on the border? I mean, geez.
Well, the other issue about this, too, is that people now are hearing it. And while it's great that she talked about it to an audience that did listen and probably would, be larger than the weekly Newsnight programs, but even the progressive left, your great institutions and newspapers, they're not talking about how bad it is. So it's finally getting out. It really is.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah. So, how many times did Biden lie during the State of the Union, asking for a friend? Well, we fact checked it earlier, and we have a link to the fact check on our KMMSAM.com website, so you can go in and read the fact check of the president. And I would say he did a pretty good job of varnishing the truth.
Well, and the other hysterical thing was, he lied every time he talked about his predecessor because he didn't want to use the word Trump. Yeah. So every time my predecessor, he whatever followed that, he lied. I mean, the thing about it that's sad is, like him or not personally, which is okay, but his policies and what he did politically were all positive things, and but we have to hear the talking points of the other side, so we do.
Yeah. Well, he did say, and I'll repeat a couple of things that he did. The bill would hire 100 more immigration judges for the backload of 2 million cases. Well, actually, it's 3 million cases, according to the Transactional Records Access Clearinghouse, if you want to use them. Backlog grew by 1 million cases from November 22 to 23. And they want 4,300 more asylum officers and new policies that can resolve cases in 6 months rather than 6 years. Well, right now it takes 4 years to be resolved, according to the American Immigration Council. And again, this is promises. 100 judges. What is that going to cost, Shane? I assume these are judges that are already being paid somewhere, but
that's right.
So,
and the other reality to this is that of the millions coming, only 15 to 18% are claiming asylum.
Yeah.
So so they give them this, trial date, 10 years from now or whatever. So it's another misdirection on the part saying, oh, this is what we're going to do to solve 15% of the problem. It's a weak argument, Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, as I say, some of this, all of it will be on our website over there at KMMSAM.com. Click on Tom and Shane's podcast on the black banner, and that'll take you to the page. And down at the bottom of the page is a link over to our podcast page, because Shane and I own that page. It's not affiliated with KMMS, so you got to use the links to get over there. So that's where we are. Yeah. So, so Well, I think in all State of the Unions, Trump lied in his. I don't know if they're lies, Shanes, as much as they are just bending the truth.
How do we know Nancy Pelosi ripped up his speech?
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, of Trump's speech, she did. That's right.
Yeah.
I was waiting for our new House Secretary to do that as well, but I guess,
Johnson,
I guess he thought, Johnson, I guess he thought better of it. So it's, yeah, that would have been pretty classic if he had just ripped it up and threw it in the air or something. I mean,
graffiti.
It was entertaining
confetti.
to watch him during that. I paid more attention to him than I did to Biden. But yeah,
well, because the vice president looked like a jack-in-the-box.
Yeah, she was popping up and down like some kind of marionette.
Yeah.
So I don't know. More people in robes is not the solution. Yeah, I would go along with that. Yep. I would think stay in Mexico is a pretty good idea. I kind of like that.
Really
I like
well.
that idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing inhumane about that, is there? What, is Mexico some kind of a bad place to stay?
No.
You got good weather, good food. Yeah.
Well, and you can sleep on the city square in Mexico City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You criticize the border policy. What is your solution? Well, build the wall and stay in Mexico would be definitely a good start.
Well, that's right. And the difficulty everybody has with this is understanding that they're accepting these people without knowing what their backgrounds are. You know, I mean, everybody's about a background check for a gun for an American. What about all these aliens? Well, I'm sorry, they're not aliens; they're newcomers.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, the newcomers coming. Shouldn't they be checking them with a background? I mean, look what the disease they're bringing in now, right? It's shown up in Chicago because of this smallpox. I mean, you know, they rid the world of that, you know, 40 years ago.
Well, that's what I say. You get all these people here. You can't process them, you know, effectively. You don't know if they've committed crimes in their own country or anything about their background. You don't know if the kid they're carrying with them is a child trafficker or going to be used for child trafficking, or if it's being abused by the person. And, you know, to just turn them loose into the U.S. and, you know, bus them to wherever they want to go. What'd they do at Ellis Island? I mean, they had an awful lot of people there, but I think they probably stayed on the boats till they could process them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Or they stayed on the island. I recall it 7 years ago talking about that, you know, from the Mexican border down and half of Florida south, there are over 1,500 different diseases. And we had this conversation because so many Canadians were coming back from, you know, South America or Central America and the Caribbean and bringing back some of these diseases. And it created a real issue in our country. So, you know, of course, they instituted guidelines and so forth with regards to that. But, yeah, diseases, you know, COVID came from China, so 1,500 diseases could come out of South America very easily.
Yeah, there you go. I think Americans are tired of the word salad. They're illegal aliens, and that's my definition. You know, the Democrats are experts at coming up with terms that they think ingratiate people: pro-life, gender-affirming care, reproductive rights, you know, undocumented immigrants. I mean, it's like they must have a consortium somewhere that sits around and figures, what are we going to call this thing, you know?
Word wizards is what they're called.
Yeah. A good solution would be to eliminate the corruption and power structure in the rest of the world to allow all these people to build productive, prosperous countries to live in rather than having to come here. Well, I go along with that. Venezuela is an S-hole, of course. And
your favorable country for inflation.
Yeah. And, you talk about Guatemala, Honduras, and, all the places they're coming from up through the south, Colombia, and, it's a mess.
And what do they have in common? They're all historically Spanish, colonies.
Yeah.
It's rather interesting.
Yeah. Technically, once they're processed, they're no longer illegal, but illegal sounds scarier. Well, I don't know that processing absolves them of illegality, because they can still be deported after their day in court.
In the legal, example of ugly, truth is the biggest one, right?
Yeah.
That's what people are afraid of, is the truth.
Yeah. We had a bipartisan bill to fix the border, but dear leader would have none of it. He needs a problem to run on. Screw America. Trump first, sad. Well, I don't remember any conversation about immigration being a problem during the 4 years that Trump was there, particularly after we started building and repairing the wall.
Well, we know how the system works. The Senate came up with this bipartisan and agreement, sent it to the House, and the House looked at it, quickly ran it through a couple of committees, made some amendments, and sent it back. And then the Senate, it fell apart in the Senate. So that's the Democratic part.
Well, the other thing I think they were doing is they were tying Ukraine in with the border bill at the same time. And that was an issue that made a lot of people uncomfortable. So. Criminal illegals is the correct term. I would agree with that. Criminal illegals, Shane. I like that.
That's a willing name.
Pretty much.
We've heard all of them.
Yeah.
The word wizards on the bad side of it have come up with all of them, but you still have that news cycle on the woke progressive side that comes up with some that just don't sound as harsh.
Yeah. Trump put himself first and America last. I don't get that, Shane. Why go to the trouble of being president of the United States?
Yeah, exactly.
You take a serious pay cut, for one thing. Funny how Republican Kate Britt authored the border bill, and then Trump called the party and said, kill it. Yeah, Trump controls the party. I don't know why they have him McConnell or what's his name there at all.
Well, Trump is the head of the Republican Party, and Biden's the head of the Democratic Party. So, if he has every right to call anybody in the Republican Party that is in office and express his opinion. If they want to listen to him, they will. If they don't, they won't. They got to vote their conscience and what the constituents want like, and so that's the bottom line, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, Shane, these are the same texters that were talking about all the people that Trump endorsed that lost. So
yeah, but the difference between the constituents of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party is the Republican Party constituents are knowledgeable. So when congressmen go home and they say no more money to Ukraine, because 80% of the money we're sending is paying people's, salaries that work for the government, and paying for a retirement. And once 60 Minutes created this tsunami of news about it 6 weeks ago. Yeah. So now everybody knows, and that's why they're having this problem with giving money to Ukraine. They're trying to spin it by saying, oh, well, we're using some of the money to pay to the military producers to replace everything we're using up. Well, that's already in the Defense Department's budget. I mean, that's.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Well, when we come back, we got more problems with DEI. They're going to cost you. And also, we've got to talk about TikTok. We'll be chatting about those when we come back after the news at the bottom of the hour. Reminder, we record all our shows there at kmmsam.com. Don't forget the AM, kmmsam.com. And click on Tom and Shane's podcast, and there'll be a link in that page to take you over to where our podcasts are located. And we've also started putting links to the things that we talk about and the sources, so you can look at that and find your competing sources and be informed. We'll be back with more. Half hour to go right after this. 27 minutes before the top of the hour, the final segment of Open for Business. Tom and Shane. Tom Eagle, your morning mayor in the house. Shane and Tom and half man, half amazing in Kamloops, Canada. And we want to do a shout out to the Montana Bobcats clinching their conference championship, and to Gallatin High School AA champs in basketball. So quite a lot going on here in Bozeman, a lot of awards running around. So from our app chat line, AM 1450 on your smartphone. Come on, if Biden erased 86 border documents, executive orders, and continued building the border and recycling the border walls, which needed to be installed, now it's going to be more harmful to the environment just to reproduce the walls he sold for scrap. Our steel is really environmental friendly and to produce, and it is the best in the world. So there you are. Stop pulling a Biden, Tom. You have a stuttering, have a green beer. I do. I'm having a hard time this morning. I'm going into my Biden imitation, so I appreciate that. I'm doing my best. I'm trying hard. Well, the identity-obsessed dogma that goes by diversity, equality, and inclusion has now trained Google's new AI to refuse to draw white people. We talked about that last week, Shane, I think, when we were on. And what's happening is we've got this new CHIPS Act. For all the people who are making these chips and everything. And we have kind of a serious issue with this act because the law contains 19 sections aimed at helping minority groups, including one creating a chief diversity officer at the National Science Foundation and several prioritizing scientific operation with what it calls minority serving institutions. So a section called Opportunity and Inclusion instructs the Department of Commerce to work with minority-owned businesses and make sure chip makers increase the participation of economically disadvantaged individuals in the semiconductor workforce. So it makes no difference whether you're intelligent or have any experience or anything else, as long as you're of a particular group that we like and want to vote for us, then you're home free. So,
which is all that is a public ad to get people to have minorities continue to support the Democratic Party, because AI will indeed change the world, and they didn't do enough with the CHIPS Act. It was, they should have had some. They should have had some guidelines for AI in there, but they didn't. Pandora's box has been opened.
The department does not call speed critical, even though the impetus for the CHIPS Act is that 90% of the world's advanced microchips are made in Taiwan, which China is preparing to annex by 2027 or maybe even 2025. So, yeah, I appreciate the fact, Shane, that I know a lot of business owners listen to us. And hiring people, I was a personnel manager for a 10-store chain in San Diego. And I know about hiring people. It's tough. it's like the draft in football. You have no idea talking to someone for 10 or 15 minutes and looking at a pre-typed resume as to whether or not that person is. You get a feel for them or you don't. And sometimes that feeling is incorrect, sometimes it's spot on. But a business has got to hire productive people. You can't sit there and say, oh, I don't have enough of this minority. I don't have enough of that minority. I've got to hire these other minorities. What is not racist about that, Shane?
Nothing. It's like running the front end of a restaurant and telling everyone that comes in and out of the kitchen, don't leave the dining room without something in your hands, right? And when you bring water to pour water in your section, empty it in others as you put it back on a counter, right? Yeah. It's just common sense things, Thomas. You know that.
Well, I do, yeah, but I don't understand how setting quotas for what groups have to be hired, how does that translate into expertise or trainability or longevity of employment or any of the other things that it takes to make a successful working economy?
Well, because the woke progressive movement doesn't believe in merit. They just want votes. It's that simple. Period.
Well, I guess
and as we've talked time and time again, when you look at the number of private businesses that employ people and people that are self-employed, there's only like 15 million people, outside the government. 6 million people now with the state and federal government. It's a hard thing. The one problem that we've now found out and we see constantly is the incompetence of people that work for the government, and there's nothing anyone does to reprimand or get rid of them. They move them somewhere else.
Yeah. Question for Shane. How much of the dollar has been degraded since 1920 due to the printing and spending of money we don't have?
About 80%.
Yeah. Well, I would argue with that because it depends on what you're going to buy. Now, in the 1990s, I sold big screen TVs that were 35-inch glass tubes for $500 in 1993 or 2. And I would tell you that today I could buy a 60 or 70-inch screen for about $600 or $700. I could buy a much better cell phone today than I could 5 years ago. I could probably buy a better washer dryer, a better garbage disposal, an automobile that does more things than the automobile did. So it depends on if you're talking about you're equating the value of a dollar against the value of what you want the dollar to buy.
Well, that's a fair argument, and that's productivity. But the bottom line is the question was, degrade, and that's a financial question in regards to the value of your dollar. And that I'm just saying that's how much inflation. That's how much inflation has moved the value of the dollar. That's all.
Sure. No, I used to be able to take my girlfriend to the drive-in for $5. I could get a half a tank of gas, feed her, and get in the movie for less than $5.
Sandy's on 24th when I was a kid.
Yeah.
A hamburger for 10, for
15 cents.
What was it? 10 cents, and a cheeseburger for 15. So Thursday night, the five of us all got 2 hamburgers or 2 cheeseburgers, but no French fries.
Yeah. There you go. Let's take a call. 406-522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on with Tom and Shane. What's up?
And bubblegum was way cheaper then.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm glad you got that bubble gum out of your mouth, Tom.
That's it. Yeah,
you were starting to talk like a Biden.
I'm struggling today, man. It's I must not have got enough sleep last night.
Yeah. Just go out and have a couple green beers, and you'll be just fine for next week. So. With the minority thing here, and Shane, you've seen it up in Canada too. They've been pushing that for many, many years, and now when you turn on a news broadcast or whatever, it's 80 to 90% black people, and so now with all of these people coming across the border, we're going to be the whites are going to be the minority before long. Try and do some shopping or do some laundry in Bozeman, Tom.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you got a really good washing machine and dryer at your own
Absolutely,
house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about taking a 9mm or whatever on else and protecting yourself just to go and do your laundry.
Yeah.
So this diversity that the Democrats have been pulling for too long as it's really got to settle on down. But really, what's been bothering me for quite a number of years, and I mentioned to Greg Giaforte and I've Austin, we've even talked about on Montana Talks just a little bit, but what do we do about all of these environmental lawyers that keep holding up and basically destroying, hurting, but still benefiting from holding up mining, forestry, whatever the heck they want, and our tax dollars end up paying for it because they still are guaranteed to get their lawyers extravagant wages out of the deal. It's pretty sad, and I really haven't received a really good answer from anybody, including in person with Greg Giaforte. He really even doesn't know. So there's something that's got to be done. So we're considered the mining state, and you can't even go and stick a gold pan. Yeah, you can't even stick a gold pan in a stream anywhere. Where you can, if you go down to like any of the southern states or anywhere, they have. You can go all over YouTube and get videos of minor, little, small dredging or gold panning and all of that, sluice boxing, all of that kind of stuff. But we're considered a mining state, and the left has shut us down. And we need all of these materials. We need to find new materials just to keep up with all of these electric cars and flying cars that Tom likes and everything.
I love those things, yeah.
I know. And make all those new UFOs that everybody loves too.
That's it.
Yeah, but anyways, happy Green Beer Day, and I'm Irish, and so if any girls are out there and see me out in the stores, feel free to kiss me.
There you go. All right, there you go. All right, John, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. All right. So how have illegals affected you personally, Tom? Go. All right. In the most recent survey, 10.77% of Montana residents reported using illicit drugs in the past month. The national average was 8.82%. Additionally, 3.15% of Montana residents reported using illicit drug other than marijuana in the past month. And while rare, there have been some large cartel busts in Montana. One notable instance involved the shutdown of a ring that the federal prosecutor said brought at least 2,000 pounds of meth and 700,000 fentanyl-laced pills into Montana from Mexico over 3 years. So, yeah, that's how illegal drugs and immigration is affecting me. And it's a matter of time before we have the crime increase, and we're just really fortunate that we live where we do. Because
just to add to that, because I started mentioning this about 6 weeks ago. So we're now 6 months in to the president authorizing Military Action Act, which he never has, and so it's a 90-day right for him to take military action. And we know from 60 Minutes 2 months ago that the U.S. is basically at war with Yemen. So the question is, when is he going to ask? When is he going to notify Congress? Because it's like you brought up with the Ukraine thing. You agree about wanting to help him, but where does it go? When does it end? He hasn't even acknowledged that this is started.
You know that illegal immigrants are less likely to commit crimes than locals. Facts matter more than fear-mongering. Well, I think we reported a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago how many illegals we had detained in the detention center.
Mm-hmm.
Tom's parents stuck him with the bill for the interstate highway and the space program, by the way. I should add that. Trump stuck our kids with $2 trillion so his billionaire buddies can buy new jets. Go out 2 hours.
Well, first of all, the thing that's wrong about that is that if you're a billionaire or if you get past 500 million, you've already bought a jet. He didn't give any. It's like there's this lie that he's using campaign money to pay his legal bills. I even heard it on the BBC, the British Broadcasting News. They interviewed in America. They said, "Well, he's using all of his election money to pay for his." He can't. It's against the law.
We don't suspend the law just because he used to be president.
That's right. Exactly.
Go out to Rosauers and look at all the construction going on around Rosauers and back of Kohl's, all down that street. That is a Trump opportunity zone.
There you go.
How many jobs do you think are operating in that area every day? Just take a drive by and take a good guess. And how much money is coming into the community in the way of property taxes and jobs and living and, support of local businesses and everything else. So please give me a break on the $2 trillion to rich people.
Friend, I know.
That's such a crock. That just won't fly anymore.
That's right. Economics 101. Yeah. One new job creates 10. It's just accepted fact. So.
Yeah. Let's see. Shane, Tom comments. I would suggest we are partly to blame for cutting the best and the brightest from third world countries through EB2 and EB3 and the H1B viruses. Removing those people can best improve their own countries. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, it's a shame that we have to import work here that should be done by Americans. But if the Americans don't have the expertise needed, then there you go.
So I need to correct myself. I misspoke. It's the Presidential War Powers Act. I just want to make sure. I don't want you to get any texts because I didn't say what act I was talking about.
Yeah. Yesterday, there were 12 people in Orientals in McDonald's, all foreigners. The staff already speaks mostly Spanish. If citizens want a job there, they best be bilingual if they get hired.
Sounds like Biden in his first run for president. Remember that?
Yeah.
If you go to a coffee shop, they're all speaking foreign languages, and you can't understand them.
Yep, you can't go to a Denny's or a Dunkin' Donuts without hearing a slight Indian accent. Yeah.
That's right. Well, I wonder what DEI would say about that today.
Yeah, there are fewer fewer legal illegals detained and locals detained. I'm glad the show's almost over because I can't talk this morning. Yeah. Whatever Biden was taking during the State of the Union, I need to get a prescription for that, whatever the hell it was.
That's good, Eagle. I like that. I want what he's taking.
I was going to say, I don't know. Can you get a manicure or a pedicure without somebody with a slight Korean accent in Bozeman? I don't know.
Yeah,
certainly. I don't know. Adderall. That's what I need. That's what Trump snorts. I need some Adderall, Shane.
Now I get the Advil gels. They're faster working and.
That's a headache. I don't have a. Well, I do have a.
No, it's not for headaches. Advil is for pain.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any pain. It's just a pain. I can't talk.
Well, then you have a pain in your neck.
I do. Yeah, I got a pain in my throat. Hairstyle illegals. I don't know. I'm not sure what hairstyle illegals are, Shane, but they will impact the area if not already. I haven't been to the hospital emergency room, but I know that in other cities they overwhelm the hospitals and emergency rooms in those cities. So, and yeah.
Well, that's why the government's trying to sort of help with that, because of the emergency room problem. But it's too big, Thomas. It's just too big.
I hate that I can't get American-made Chinese food anywhere. That's a good one. Oh, well, we got to talk about TikTok here real quick, Shane, in the 2 minutes we got left, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, the House is talking about banning it. Rumble has made an offer, and so has Mnuchin, the former secretary under Trump. He's putting a group together.
Simple solution. One-page resolution in the House that any internet, company or any social media company has to be given the algorithm for TikTok. Yeah. That's it. That's it. China demands it of everyone else. Mm-hmm. We want all your trade secrets, so just do the same thing. If TikTok is going to be used in the U.S., TikTok has to give the algorithm to all the social media companies in the United States. End of problem.
No, I don't think they're going to do that. That's proprietary.
Well, of course not. It's
proprietary information. Is what Facebook's not giving their algorithm to Twitter.
No, but they're giving them to the Chinese government, or they couldn't manufacture there.
No. I had to buy an alternator the other day, and my cost nearly doubled since 2021. And I would agree with that. I had to replace the alternator. Jeez Christ.
Go to a junkyard.
I had to replace the alternator in my vehicle, my gas-guzzling, planet-killing van. And, it was a lot. So I feel your pain.
That's right.
I work at the hospital. The ER is not overrun, mostly American. Yeah, I would say here that's certainly the case here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're in any danger of being overrun at the medical.
Well, tell that to the cities that we find out this week 54,000 Haitians have been flown into your country by Biden over the last 9 months. So there you go.
Yeah. Let's see. The guy who made billions from TARP bailouts, Mnuchin, wants to buy TikTok. What a country. Well, he's not going to buy it himself. He's trying to put together a group to buy it. So that's where we are.
There you go, buddy.
Yeah, sounds good to me. So
just want the algorithm. That's all you want.
That's all you need. Yep. I don't know. So, well, I don't know that they will go for that or not, but Anyway, say goodbye, Shane.
I will indeed. Best friend forever. Thank you, Thomas. I really appreciate this time we spend together. Be happy, be safe, everyone. Live in the moment, live to work. And now, with everything we're reading and seeing happening before us, aren't we lucky we do still live here, because we live in two great countries. Have a great weekend. Thank you to all the callers, listeners, and we look forward to talking to you on the big show next Saturday.
Amen to that. All right. Thanks, Shane. All right. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Thanks for being with me, and I'll see if I can get out of here without bumbling goodbye in some way. But hey, don't forget all our shows are recorded. They're at kmmsam.com, and also the links to our sources are also there. So if you want to check out and read more about any of the things we've talked about, they are all at kmmsam.com. I am out of here.